Welcome back. Let's get started with TDD. Our example project will be a shopping cart class where we can add items, remove items, clear out all items, we can enumerate the items in the shopping cart, and we can get the total cost for all the items in the shopping cart. Let's get started. Opening up Visual Studio and create a new project. I'm happy to create a class library. It doesn't need a console app or Windows app or web app or anything like that. We're just going really simple. Just some business logic is all we're going to be writing. So class library will do the trick. So here we go, class library, get started. I'm going to be calling it TDD shopping cart. And sure, those defaults are fine. It's obviously a C# project. Yep, .NET 6 is great. And it's creating the project now. This is great. So we've got our default class 1 that comes with all new projects. So here we go, shopping cart. Class 1, so TDD shopping cart is the name of the project. The solution's got the same name. Let's get set up for TDD. So I'm going to be using the XUnit unit testing framework. So under tools, you could package. So very similar to what we did the other day. So I'm just going to quickly go through that again. Sorry about that. So we've got XUnit, bang, yep, that's it. There, install, yes. I accept. Alright, that's done. And then I want XUnit runner for Visual Studio. Here we go, XUnit runner Visual Studio. Yes, install that. Latest version is 2.4.3. Obviously the versions that you might be facing might be newer. Alright, and last but not least is, here we go, Microsoft.NET Test SDK 17, install that as well. Yes, accept, and accept as well. Great, we can kind of do away with that for now. I'm going to rename this class to Shopping Cart Test. Okay, how are we to proceed from here? It might be an idea for us to take a quick look at the 3 rules of TDD and also red-green refactor. Let's do that now and see whether they can help us work out what we need to do. Here we've got the 3 rules of TDD again, and rule number 1 is only write production code to make a failing unit test pass. So we can't write any production code at all until we have a failing unit test. So we can't write the class for the shopping cart until we've got a failing unit test. And also red-green refactor gives us a similar view on the same problem. We need to have a red first. Red means a failing unit test. So here rule number 1 of the 3 rules and red-green refactor reinforce one another. We need a failing unit test to start with. Alright, we need a failing test to force us to create a shopping cart. How about this? Fact denotes our unit test. Public void can create shopping cart. So here we've got a unit test and we need some code here. We need to write a unit test that forces us to create the shopping cart class. Now there is some research out there that says that trying to answer a question before one actually knows the answer helps with learning and retention of that learning, even if one is unsuccessful in the attempt. Okay, so in that spirit, I would like you to stop the video now for just a minute and think about what kind of unit test to write here that forces us to create the shopping cart class. And then after a minute, restart the video and I'll show you the answer. Okay? Alright, minute starts now. Welcome back. I hope you had a productive time thinking about what kind of unit test you could write to force the creation of a shopping cart class. Doesn't matter whether you succeeded or not. The helpful thing is that you thought about it, and that will help you with comprehending what I'm about to do. All right, can create shopping cart. Let me write the unit test. The idea is being too helpful. Here we go. This is the unit test. We're forcing the creation of a new shopping cart instance. Var cart is equal to new shopping cart. But hold on, the shopping cart doesn't even exist as a class, and we've got a compilation error here. That is true. The rule is if it's a runtime error or a compilation error, we've got a failing test. Here we've got a compilation error, so let's fix that. How do we fix that? We write our shopping cart class, and for the time being I'm just going to do it in the same file. Public class shopping cart. That is it. The test now compiles, and in fact it will even run. We can run it from our test explorer down here. There isn't an assertion here. This is more of a scaffolding test, a test that forces us to create a class. Because there is no assertion, the test will just pass when it runs through, and this is what happens here. The test passes. Later on we can delete this test. This test is only used for us to create the shopping cart class. All right, let's move on.